Hey everybody, it's Corey coming to you from North Idaho. Well, you've been asking, where have you been? It's been 5 months since you've done a video. And honestly, it's been a busy summer and fall. We came right out of the lockdown from COVID and business just boomed. A lot of people have wanted to move here from North Idaho, and we've been busy facilitating those clients. But honestly, there's been one client that has taken up pretty much all of our time. This client is not just any client. We could not disclose who he was during the actual relocation process, because if the media had found out that he was relocating to North Idaho, it would have taken all of their attention off of following election 2020. And imagine if the media had been pulled away from following Joe Biden day in, day out through his rigorous campaign. And if the media wasn't there, drilling Joe Biden and trying to vet him and get answers to the hard questions like they managed to do, we wouldn't have had that service that they provided to the American people. So this guy moving to North Idaho did not want to take the media attention away from their tough job that they had done, vetting Joe Biden. Well, we're happy to report that this client has actually completed his move here. Not just his home, but he moved his international business here, all his employees, and his whole operation is here now. And we've asked him to share with you guys his experience of relocating to North Idaho, because it's not an easy process picking up from one place, leaving family, business, and all the security of one place and moving to another. So he's going to share with us his experience. And he's going to do that through a Zoom call. So we've got him on the other line, I guess you would say, right now. So let's get into the interview. Good afternoon, sir. So we understand this is the busiest time of the year for you and your staff, and we're honored that you're just taking a little bit of time to share with us your experience of moving to North Idaho.
You are so welcome, Corey.
So, Santa, why North Idaho?
Well, most people assume just because I'm rocking the MAGA red that I wanted to move to North Idaho for the conservative culture. And while that certainly was at the top of the list for Mrs. Claus and me, my affection for North Idaho actually started as a young boy. You see, Grandma and Grandpa Claus actually had a cabin on Lake Coeur. As a young lad, I grew up at their cabin in North Idaho during the summers. It's where I learned to water ski. Grandpa Claus taught me how to fly fish on the Coeur d'Alene River, and I grew up making tree forts and hunting critters in the woods around Lake Coeur d'Alene. Heck, as a teenager, I used to work as a lumberjack down around St. Mary's to make some extra money. So, I've always wanted to come back to the place where so many childhood memories reside. Then, several years ago, Mrs. Claus and I actually got a gig at the Coeur d'Alene Resort. It's there where we have the Journey to the North Pole. It's an adventure where cruise boats bring families out to the middle of Lake Coeur d'Alene to visit us at the North Pole. Yes, kids, the North Pole is in the middle of Lake Coeur d'Alene. Come see us. So, we've been coming to North Idaho for many years, and we finally figured it was time to move here full time and move our operation. So that's when we called you, Corey.
Oh yeah, I remember that call well. I actually hung up on you. I thought it was my brother-in-law doing a prank call.
Hey Corey, this is Santa Claus, and I'd like for you to find me a house in North Idaho.
So click. Anyway, we got it all worked out.
I remember that call too. You told me, hey Santa, you might want to take a sip of nog because this is not the same real estate market your Grandpa Claus used to know. Oh, you showed me a couple graphs and told me how inventory was at record lows because nobody was leaving North Idaho and there was little land for developers to build new homes on. How the number of homes coming onto the market had been declining for years, and how 2020 saw half the homes on the market than the year before. Then you showed me how demand was at an all-time high, how Idaho was the fastest growing state by percentage rate since 2017, And despite having half the homes to sell as last year, sales were still up over 30%. You said to me, Santa, there's not a dozen homes for you to see. There are a dozen buyers just like you waiting for a house to see. Now, I must admit, I was not real fond of those fun graphs you were showing me and how tough the market is. But Mrs. Claus and I needed to hear what you had to say.
Yeah, there's a lot of buyers in our market right now. In fact, in October of 2020, almost every house had multiple bids on it. And it wasn't uncommon to see houses having at least 3 bids, sometimes 30 multiple bids on a property. Several times we saw a simple 3-bedroom, 2-bath home listed for $400,000 get into a bidding war and go over $100,000 over asking price. A 3-bedroom, 2-bath home selling for over $500,000. And when you factor in that 1 in 3 buyers in our market right now is all cash, that means that people with loans have to bid way over asking price. And when they win bids, they have to be able to cover the gap, for example. So let's say they go tens of thousands of dollars over asking price, but the bank that's giving them the loan says, well, that's nice that you won the bid up here, but we're not going to give you more money than the house appraises for, which is down here. And that appraisal gap could be $50,000. The people that have loans need to come up with that differential in cash. So in our market, not just our cash buyers winning, but even people with loans, the only ones with loans that are winning are the ones that are able to cover the gap with cash. So it's a very competitive market. Okay, Santa, so let's talk shop for a little bit. Tell us what the #1 most requested gift is for this year that we call 2020. And please, don't tell us it's toilet paper.
Ho, ho, ho! That's an easy one. Housing bubbles.
I'm not so sure I understand. Are people cleansing their houses more because of the pandemic?
Well, there is that. But every YouTuber, social media guru, and real estate forecaster is using the word housing bubbles in their content because it's easy clickbait to get everybody's attention.
Well, I guess if anybody could qualify as a housing expert, it would be you. I mean, after all, you've been in every house, in every housing market throughout the world. So what say you? Are we heading for a housing bubble here in North Idaho?
Ho, ho, ho! True, I have been in a house or two. And if I know anything about the housing market, is there's not just one housing market. There's many. And each market is subject to the fundamental rules of supply and demand. Let me demonstrate using my Karl Rove whiteboard. It's no secret that Santa's elves love to eat gingerbread houses. Let's say you have 10 gingerbread houses and 10 elves who want to eat them. This would be a balanced market where supply is equal to demand. Now, let's say Mrs. Claus is baking her famous gingerbread houses in her new Coeur d'Alene kitchen. And the scent of all that gingery bread goodness is drifting towards a village with a lot of elves. And these elves are hungry. In fact, they have not even been able to get out of their little elf houses for months to go and get their own baked goods. There are cries from disgruntled elves in the village to defund the bakeries. And the village governor, Gruesome Keebler, is threatening to outlaw ginger because ginger represents liberty, and liberty, if allowed to exist, would mean elves could use it for their own capitalistic benefit. Nevertheless, these elves smell ginger, and when they start asking each other from where this forgotten heavenly scent is coming from, word spreads quickly among the elves.
It's coming from North Idaho, ho ho!
And because elves have a very strong affection for ginger, many elves pack their little elf bags and migrate to North Idaho, ho ho. And because there are more elves than gingerbread houses, when they get there, not every elf will get a gingerbread house in North Idaho, ho ho. And that is a sad tale for another time. But until elves no longer love gingerbread houses, those places like North Idaho, ho ho, that have gingerbread houses will continue to draw the elves. And believe me when I tell you, not even Mrs. Claus can make enough gingerbread houses for the amount of elves that want gingerbread houses.
So I'll take that as a no, that there is no housing bubble coming to North Idaho anytime soon. Okay, Santa, there is one question that I've been dying to ask you ever since I was a little boy, and it's this. How in the world do you get into houses that don't have fireplaces?
Well, let me answer your question by asking you a question.
Okay.
When you go fishing on Lake Coeur d'Alene, where is your favorite spot?
The water?
See, some secrets are better kept secrets.
Copy that. Okay, let me close with this last question, Santa. Is my brother-in-law finally going to get a lump of coal in his stocking this year?
Corey, just because you're better looking, more intelligent, and a better athlete than your brother-in-law does not mean you get to spoil his Christmas. In fact, we need to be honest here. Your brother-in-law is a fireman, and firemen can do no wrong. Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas, everyone!